What's up guys, Commander Alex here, and today we're going to be talking about the newest hero coming to Vainglory, Kestrel. Now I don't actually have any gameplay yet because she's not even in the PvE yet, but she is kind of on their website. If you want to take a look, you can go into the Vainglory news section and there's a link to this page. So if you want to see what I'm seeing, just, follow that path. But this is just going to be kind of an overview of her abilities, what I think about her, what I think about her abilities, and where I kind of think she's going to fit in really well. So first off, here's the picture of her. It looks pretty cool, I guess. She's a Stormguard sniper, so she's in the same family as Catherine, but she is a ranged sniper, and she has a bow, which is super awesome. But she looks sort of steampunk, to be honest. She doesn't look like old school. She's more steampunk bow, like all mechanized and that sort of stuff. Oops, I accidentally clicked on the picture there. We're gonna go back. But taking a look at her abilities here. Now keep in mind they are subject to change, but her heroic perk right now is Kestrel gains increased attack speed and decreased energy cost on her abilities each time she lands a basic attack. This stacks several times and falls off rapidly if she stops landing attack. So basically, when she keeps landing stuff, she gets decreased cooldown, she gets increased attack speed, she gets better and better the more auto attack she lands, and I think probably the more abilities she lands as well. But every time she misses, it just poof, it's gone. And if she doesn't do anything, it goes down very quickly as well. So I think this is going to be kind of good if you're on the offensive, because you can keep chasing them down, you can keep getting these auto attacks, keep getting increased attack speed, decreased energy costs. But if you're on defensive and you can't really do that, it's going to be pretty much useless for you. So I think this is more of an offensive ability, and I think this is also for long fights, because obviously it takes a while to get those stats going. But it'll probably be good in the early game, since no one really just gets destroyed in the early game. Like, it takes quite a while for fights to shake out in the early game. So this is going to be probably more of an early game perk, and I think it's going to be based on more offense than defense. And actually her whole kit is more offense than defense. Yes, she has range, so she's going to be good at clearing waves and all that sort of stuff, but I feel like she's actually more of an offensive, get in your face sort of range character, not so much like a sit back and just pelt you with a freaking bow and arrow. So first off, here we have her A ability. Kestrel fires a skill shot arrow. This impacts the first target in a line, dealing weapon and crystal damage and applying on-hit effects. Kestrel keeps several halcyon arrows in reserve for successive shots. So this is, I think, going to be a charge system, kind of like what we have with Blackfeather's ultimate, except I'm guessing it'll be more than 2 charges. My guess would be 5, but that's just a complete guess. I don't know how strong these are going to be. Maybe they'll be more, maybe they'll be less. It's kind of just whatever SEMC wants. But this is probably going to be her main form of damage other than auto attacks. And I think the fact that it says weapon and crystal, that's going to mean that she's going to be good at killing tanks, or really in any team. Actually, I shouldn't say killing tanks. She's going to be good in any team composition, because that implies that she can go both crystal and weapon. So if you have a weapon power jungle, go crystal. If you have a crystal power, then you can go weapon, and it's going to make her a lot more flexible. Now, I don't know which is going to be strongest, so I mean, there's definitely probably going to be some situations where she's just better with one sort of build, but I think the fact that her abilities tend to do hybrid damage is going to be really useful in making her useful in pretty much any team comp. Alright, so this is just a skill shot. Seems pretty straightforward. I mean, it does damage. I think the only really thing to note is that it is hybrid damage. So moving on here, we get to kind of the really cool stuff, to be honest, and that is that Kestrel, wait, let me get it centered in the screen here. There we go. Alright, so Kestrel briefly becomes invisible and gains bonus move speed when active camouflage is enabled. She also leaves behind a mist invisible to enemies at a location where she activates stealth. If an enemy moves into the mist and Kestrel lands an auto attack or ability on them, the mist will detonate, briefly stunning and dealing crystal damage to all enemies within it. So first off, this is going to give her some AoE damage. I don't know how much damage it's going to be, so we'll have to kind of see at that. But the fact that it's a stun if you land it, it's AoE damage, and I mean, it allows her to go invisible. I guess that's pretty cool. A ranged invisible character seems kind of odd to me, because invisibility is usually to sneak up right next to your targets and then just boof, you're right on top of them and they don't know what to do. Whereas this seems like A, you could use it as an escape, or B, you could use it to set really intricate traps. So the reason I say that is because when you go invisible, you set this mist. Now, if you want to set this up, you could actually end up dropping the mist in a bush that you have vision in, go into the other side of the map, or not the other side of the map, but a little ways away, and then you hit him with one of your halcyon arrows. Where are those? Yeah, the halcyon arrows. And boom, they're stunned, they take damage. They take damage from the air as well as from the mist, and they can't really do anything because you're way far away. So I feel like this is one of those abilities where it's only good if you're the one doing the engaging. I don't think this is going to be super good if you're getting like pounced on, because like the mist isn't going to be that much for you. It is an invisibility, but that's kind of countered by flare. So it'll be interested to see if this is used as an escape or if this is used to set traps, because I feel like it can kind of be used both ways. And I think she's probably going to be one of those heroes that you have to have really good forethought in fights with, because if you don't have your mist down, it might be like a lot of damage lost. At least that's sort of what I'm thinking here. All right, moving on here, we have Storm Snipe. Her global ultimate, after preparing her shot with an energy scope, it's a really cool name, Kestrel releases an arrow that instantly pierces across the fold. This deals both weapon and crystal damage to heroes and objectives along its path, and the cooldown for this ability is greatly reduced if it lands on an enemy within a mist trap. So this is actually really cool. My idea here is that you set your mist trap, and then you get in a bush, you back instantly, use your Stormguard Snipe, and then across the map hit somebody. Like, that feels like it could be absolutely amazing. So first off, you get your ability cooldown reduced when you hit someone within a mist trap, which I think is cool, but I don't know how like useful it's going to be. Maybe it'll just like completely reduce the cooldown of it at level 3, which could be really useful, but I feel like this is going to be something people don't really care about as much. The other thing is, this is a global ultimate, which is awesome. It reminds me of the Celeste ultimate, but with a couple key changes. First off, it says instantly pierces across the fold. So this, in my mind, means that it's almost like a laser and you can't really dodge it. Like, it's just going to hit you, which I think is really, really cool. It's going to allow you to finish off enemies without them really having any time to react. But again, I don't know if it actually is instant or if it's just incredibly quick and you can still dodge it. And then finally here, it deals both weapon and crystal damage again, which I think is pretty cool because, again, that's going to mean that she would work with hybrid, and that's going to make her work in a lot more different team comps. So like, if you have a weapon power jungle, you can go crystal power. If you have a crystal power jungle, you can go weapon power. And then finally, I don't actually know if she's going to be weapon or crystal. Let's see what hero designer Slaterhelm says here. He says, with Kestrel, our goal is to deliver on 2 fantasies. When playing weapon, you'll become a predator, staying near your targets and using brief bursts of stealth to wave clear through combat as you line up your arrows. Crystal benefits from longer stealth durations, allowing her to lean more heavily on her traps. That's what I was talking about. And she sets up long-range sniper shots. Okay, so he did mention both crystal and weapons, so I'm thinking that's going to mean that she is viable with both builds. And then he talked about setting up traps with crystal because it increases your stealth duration. So that's a little bit of tidbit of information we didn't get actually from the rest of the info, but apparently building crystal is going to reduce, or rather increase, your stealth duration. And weapon, he says, will make you become a predator. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I mean, I guess it could mean that your halcyon arrows will do a lot of damage with it. But I think, personally, I'm probably going to be leaning towards the crystal, just because I like keeping my distance and setting traps. I like having that forethought in fights and then having it just turn out for me, rather than getting nice and dirty and maybe picking up like a really awesome triple kill, or maybe just killing myself. Like, that's why I don't really like Taka. And I feel like weapon power Kestrel is going to be very similar to Taka in that she won't use super long range. She probably won't be using her ultimate to kill people instantly. It's going to be a lot less forethought, a lot less reactive, or a lot more just like going in and reacting to the situation. Whereas Crystal is going to be sitting back, setting your trap, and then waiting for them to walk into it. So again, tell me what you think of Kestrel. What do you think her abilities are going to do as far as scaling and all of this different info? And then what do you think you're going to be liking with her? More weapon power or crystal? How do you think you're going to build her? Give me all that good info, and I'm going to talk to you guys in the next video. So become a lieutenant today, and see ya.